Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to treat this session like an advanced physics masterclass on the completely invisible electric forces that are quite literally powering everything in our modern universe. From the lightning crashing in the sky during a thunderstorm to the very smartphone or computer screen you're looking at right now, there's this hidden world of physical interactions happening constantly, right under our noses. I am super excited to guide you through all of this, so get your mental notebooks ready and let's get started.
So let's dive right into a classic problem that actually drove early scientists absolutely crazy. It's this concept of action at a distance. Think back to a classic science class experiment. You rub a balloon against your hair, you hold it over some tiny pieces of paper, and without even touching them, the paper leaps up to stick to the balloon. How does the balloon reach out and grab that paper through completely empty space? I mean, it looks like magic, right? But spoiler alert, it's not magic. It's just mechanics.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The invisible force. 2. Visualizing fields. 3. History and mechanics. 4. Mathematics of the field. 5. Real-world applications. And finally, 6. Common student misconceptions.
All right, part 1. The invisible force, solving action at a distance.
To really crack this whole action at a distance mystery, we have to understand that the space around a charged object isn't empty at all. It's a real, physical region of influence. To wrap our heads around this, let's use an everyday analogy. Imagine standing in a room and someone walks in wearing a really strong perfume. Now, you can't see those perfume molecules spreading through the air, right? But you absolutely feel their effect when you smell them. An electric field is exactly like that fragrance. It is physically there, radiating around a charge. Now, if we wanted to draw a map to show how that scent spreads through the room, we'd probably draw some arrows. And those imaginary arrows? Those are exactly what electric field lines are. The fragrance itself is real, but the arrows are just our visual tool to explain what it's doing.
Which brings us to part 2. Visualizing electric fields, drawing the invisible. Like any good mapping system in physics, we've got some strict ground rules for drawing these field lines. First off, field lines always start at positive charges and point outward. Secondly, they always end at negative charges, pointing inward. Third, they never ever intersect. We'll get into why later. And fourth, and this is absolutely crucial, closer lines mean a stronger field. The density, or how bunched up those lines are, is your visual cheat code to understanding exactly how strong the field is at any given spot.
Seeing these rules in action really brings it together. When you map out a single positive charge, the lines radiate outward perfectly symmetrically, kind of like sunlight bursting from a light bulb. Conversely, for a single negative charge, all those lines converge inward, drawing in like water swirling down a drain. But what's really fascinating is what happens when you put them together into an electric dipole. You take one positive and one negative charge, and suddenly the lines start at the positive, bend through space, and curve elegantly to terminate at the negative charge. That specific curved pattern? It's a massive deal in chemistry because essential molecules like water behave exactly like these tiny electric dipoles.
Moving right along to part 3, history and core mechanics.
Humanity didn't just figure all this out overnight. It took centuries of observation. Way back around 600 BCE, the Greek philosopher Thales of Milos first documented static electricity just by rubbing amber with animal fur. Fast forward to 1785, and Charles Augustin de Coulomb starts actually putting numbers to these forces. But the real game changer? That hit in the 19th century with Michael Faraday. Faraday had barely any formal math education, yet he completely revolutionized science because he invented the very concept of the field lines we just talked about. Instead of seeing empty space pulling things, he imagined space filled with invisible fields. Then, by the 1860s, James Clerk Maxwell took Faraday's brilliant visual intuition and locked it down into the unified mathematical equations that form the bedrock of modern physics today.
Let's break down how that history translates into actual step-by-step mechanics. Here is exactly how an electric field exerts force. Step 1. Every single charge, whether positive or negative, is continuously projecting an electric field into the space around it. Step 2. Let's imagine a tiny positive test charge wandering into this field. Step 3. Boom. An electric force acts on that test charge instantly, repelling it if the source is positive, attracting it if the source is negative. And step 4, as our little test charge moves further away from the source, the strength of the field and the force changes, it gets weaker.
Okay, part 4, mathematics of the field.
Let's consider this your ultimate cheat sheet. All right, time to talk math. These are the formulas that let us predict these invisible forces with total precision. First up, E equals F over Q. This is how we define electric field intensity. The field, E, equals the force, F, acting on a positive test charge, divided by the size of that test charge, Q. Next, E equals KQ over R squared. This calculates the field created by a single point charge. Q is your source charge, and R is your distance. Pay close attention to the fact that R is squared. That is going to be super important in a second. Finally, the big one, Coulomb's law. F equals K times Q1 times Q2 all over R squared. This tells us the actual physical force between two stationary charges. The takeaway? Bigger charges create stronger forces, but distance is the great equalizer.
Let's zoom in on that r squared for a second, because it leads directly to this massive fraction right here, 1/4. Because distance is squared in the denominator of our formulas, the field decreases according to the inverse square law. What does that actually mean? Well, if you're standing a certain distance from a charge and you decide to just step back and double that distance, the electric field doesn't just drop by half. No way. It drops to 1/4 of its original strength. If you triple your distance, it plummets to 1/9. The field weakens incredibly fast the further you move away.
Part 5. Real-world applications, fields in action.
So why should we care about all this invisible math? Well, because it's essentially the operating system of the real world. Without electric fields, the touchscreen on your smartphone would be completely useless. It literally relies on changes in the field to know where your finger is tapping. Air purifiers use these fields to statically charge and grab microscopic dust and smoke particles right out of the air. Car manufacturers use electrostatic painting, creating a field to pull paint droplets perfectly onto the metal frame, which drastically cuts down on waste. It's the exact same physics driving billion-dollar particle accelerators, and it's the very same force building up in storm clouds right before a massive lightning strike.
Let's look at one specific, absolutely crucial application found inside almost all your electronics, the capacitor. Imagine two parallel metal plates, one charged positive, the other negative. The electric field lines between them are perfectly straight, perfectly parallel, and evenly spaced. That tells us we're looking at a perfectly uniform electric field, where the force is exactly the same strength no matter where you are between those plates. Capacitors use this uniform field to store energy, basically acting as tiny, rapid-fire batteries inside your computer or the flash of a camera.
All right, final section, Part 6, Common Student Misconceptions. Before we wrap up this explainer, we're going to do a rapid-fire review to clear up some classic mistakes. Misconception number 1. A lot of students think electric field lines are real, physical things floating in space, like microscopic wires carrying electricity. Actually, scratch that. They are totally imaginary. They are just visual tools we invented to represent the direction and strength of the field. Remember the perfume analogy? The electric field itself is a very real physical thing, but the lines are just our drawing tool.
Misconception number 2. It is super easy to assume that because an electric force requires two charges to interact, the field only switches on when a second charge shows up to feel it. That's false. The reality is, a charged object generates an electric field constantly, 24/7, all around itself, even if it's completely alone in the deepest vacuum of space. The field is an inherent, unchangeable property of the charge.
Misconception number 3, and trust me, this one is a huge trap on exams. Never, ever draw field lines crossing each other. Why? Because a field line represents the direction of the net force on a positive test charge. If two lines crossed, it would mean that at that exact intersection, the electric field is pointing in two different directions at the exact same moment. Physically, a particle cannot be pushed in two different net directions at once. It's impossible. So, lines never intersect. You need to keep that fact locked in.
And that brings us to the end of our masterclass. These mathematical rules, these imaginary lines, they aren't just dry textbook theories. They are literally the hidden language of the universe around us. So I want to leave you with a provocative thought. As you tap your phone screen right now to pause or close this explainer, ask yourself, how many invisible fields are you interacting with at this very second? Thanks for exploring this with me today. Keep asking great questions and keep looking for the invisible forces that shape our world.